most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin a.k.a. MMAnomaly, Emiliano a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano, and Alex Pip a.k.a. Pip's Piano Tips.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and with me, as usual, are the co-hosts with the most, talking about Jive Turkey Nano and Alex Pip, a.k.a. Pip's Piano Tips. You know, one's always going to talk turkey to you. The other one's always bringing major keys to the show, folks, so you want to pay attention and lock into both of them. And before we jump into breaking down this exciting card at the world's most famous Metapex Arena in Vegas, I got to ask, how are you boys doing on this beautiful Friday?
Hard to complain. Happy Friday, boys. Pip, looking sharp as always, brother. How you doing over there?
Thank you, sir. I got some showing, so I'm trying to look nice after this stream here. But yeah, I'm doing good. I want to say happy Good Friday to everybody in the chat. And I just got a shout out. Jesus Christ. How y'all doing?
Nice.
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I am doing good. No complaints. It's been a hell of a week outside of pod life, but I'm not here to complain. And as long as I'm awake and breathing, it's a beautiful day, bro. It's a beautiful day. So we're gonna make the most of it. Olin just got out of a meeting. Nano just got out of jail. Pips just got out of church. You're actually not wrong. You're not wrong. Well, at least one out of three of those things is right. And I may have just changed shirts out of my work-appropriate shirt to put on something a little more fight-appropriate. And I felt like this was more appropriate than a UFC shirt because, let's face it, even us diehards, not the most exciting card in the world this weekend. But we're here to break it down anyway. Useless, my guy, a.k.a. Useful, as I like to call him. Always happy to see you in the chat, as well as you, Grimy. Hope you guys are having a fucking amazing Friday so far. And it's going to get better because we are here to talk about UFC Vegas 115, one of the most illustrious cards the UFC has ever put on. I mean, at the very least, this is better than UFC Freedom 250 or whatever the fuck it's called. With that being said, let's jump on into the main event of the evening, folks. We're talking about a Renato Money Moicano coming in against Chris Duncan. These guys train together. They know each other very well. They know each other's game. They actually have kind of similar trajectories, right? One guy has more wins, but he also has more losses, and he's been here longer, right? He's the more veteran fighter. I'm intrigued before I give my pick to hear you guys out because I'm as Cross would say, I'm fighting for my life out here when it comes to making these underdog picks this week, and there's a lot of these fights where I feel like I'm sitting on the fence more often than I do. So we'll go to you first, Pip. What are you thinking about this fight? Who do you think takes it and why?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an odd main event, just in my opinion, but I definitely think it's going to be a fun fight for as long as it lasts. I mean, Moicano can be a real technician when he's on his game. Yes, he's on a 2-fight losing streak, but one of them is to Islam and the other is to Darrius. Before that, he was on a 4-fight win streak. And when it's Moicano's night, I mean, he can do some dangerous things. He can stand and strike. He's got fast jabs, good leg kicks. He's even able to rush in the pocket fairly efficiently. He can get your back, drag you down. If he's not looking for the submission, he's unloading heavy ground and pound. And against Duncan, who's more of a physical fighter, I would say, he's pretty well-rounded, solid kicks, strong punches, good elbows in the clinch as well, and solid takedowns. He's got a good shoulder roll defense as well. So, I mean, when he's getting hit, he's usually not getting hit clean. He does a lot of good work to the body. And I think this matchup is honestly a coin toss. I could see Duncan, being too strong for Moicano, landing good knees and elbows. pushing Moicano against the cage, but I could also see Moicano being too fast for Duncan, seeing the telegraph shots, beating up the legs, being able to drag Duncan down. And I think that's where I'm leaning. I think Moicano still has a foot in this race. I think the advantage of on the ground, and that's where he shines. And let's not forget what he did to BSD. I think once the fight gets to the ground, Moicano takes the back, sinks in a rear naked choke, and he gets it done in round 3.
I like it. I like it a lot. Nano, what are you thinking on this one, big guy?
Solid breakdown. I think this is an interesting matchup. It is a main event here, and I think it's two guys coming in with some familiarity, like you mentioned. Someone is a ranked fighter in the lightweight division. That's Renato Moicano, sitting at the 10th spot. The man's all about the money, and he's all about trying to get back on the winning track here. But I'm looking at a Chris Duncan across from him, man. The guy that's 4 years younger, that has that familiarity, like you mentioned, from just training and sparring together. Though at American Top Team, it is like a revolving door there. I think it needs to be said. Though they are at the same camp, I'm sure they might have crossed paths, but there's so many fighters that are there that are coming and going. And I would assume maybe they try to avoid each other, knowing that they're in the same division, and they may obviously be squaring off like they are to this Saturday. But that could be great for us fans. That could be bad. I think in terms of the pace or just what we might see as far as the unpredictability, which we love. It's just you never know when they have that familiarity. Is it going to be an actual fight, or is it going to be a sparring match? But I'm confident both these guys are going to want to go out there, make that extra money. Moicano is always trying to get the bonus, always about the money. But I think Chris Duncan coming in 4 wins in a row, that's where my money's going. He's a slight bet in favorite. I just think he is equally as skilled as a Renato Moicano, though I think I'd give Renato maybe the grappling advantage. But every fight starts on the feet, and I think Chris has just enough athleticism, youth, and durability to weather Renato's storm. So give me Chris Duncan in this. So I'm taking the Swedishman. MMAnomaly, I'm dishing over to you, my brother. How you feeling about this bout?
Man, I hate you guys. I asked you to help me clarify this, and you fucking split the fence for me. Not gonna lie, kind of a dick move, boys. But I love it. We're off to the races. It's a good start to the show. So I love this spot from Moicano, especially as a dog, right? Everyone's gonna look at Duncan's pressure and recent momentum, but this is a step up in IQ and skill, in my opinion. Moicano is the cleaner striker. He's better defensively, and most importantly, he's way more dangerous in transitions. As the co-host to my far right alluded to, he pieced up Benny St. Denis, right? And he just bloodied and marred him up and made the fight be stopped. So he can do the same thing. Duncan thrives in chaos, but Moicano thrives in punishing mistakes, right? Duncan makes mistakes. He typically is able to fight through making those mistakes, and that's how he wins fights. But make no mistake, he sometimes overextends, he loads up, and against a guy like Moicano who can mix in level changes and threaten submissions, that's a dangerous game to play. So I lean Moicano because once he gets a read on the timing especially, I think he's going to start intercepting Duncan and eventually mix in the grappling. I'm taking Moicano, probably round 2 submission in this one.
I like it.
Well, they're still fairly dry. He's dangerous, bro. And if it's not a submission, I could also see him just hurting Duncan coming in on a double or a single, and then just ground and pounding him out after he gets top position, either from being on top of him through a sprawl or just getting a sweep from the bottom if he does end up with Duncan on top of him. Moving into the next fight, folks, we have a women's strawweight bout between Virna, Jandiroba, and Tabatha, Baby Shark Ricci. Man, this is another very close fight, right? I think Jandiroba is tough as nails. She's the favorite for a reason. But Tabatha Ricci is dead to rights coming up into her own, bro. She's really, really shown a growth in not only her physical skill, but her fight IQ as well in recent bouts. Nato, I'll come to you first on this one, and then I'll take it over. Who do you have winning this one, and how?
Man, this is a fun bout here. It feels like it's a kind of a changing of the guard when you're looking at the two fighters. They're in different stages in their career, but both having their eye on the prize. I'm absolutely excited about this strawweight matchup between Virna Jandiroba, sin with the number 3 ranking next to her name, versus the one, the only Tabatha Baby Shark Ricci. Baby Shark, do. Man, this is an absolute banger of a fight, brother. I love this one. I think both girls are going to come in, try to impose their will. They're going to be patient. I could see that first round being a little bit of a snoozer. They're going to really be methodical with what they're doing. But once they get rolling, man, my goodness, I feel like Virna really learned a lot in that last fight against Mackenzie Dern. Very slightly, I guess, lost that bout, but it was razor thin margins, man. I really liked what I saw from her, and I think going the 5 rounds with the champion, with someone that is also the best of the best, it's just going to sharpen her blades and her weapons even more. So I'm leaning Virna to bounce back here. She is coming off 2 losses, and she is 36 years old, and it's almost the same, kind of, well, not back to back, but sorry, coming off the loss, right? You always want to avenge that loss. 37 years old, excuse me. And with the Tabatha at 31 years old, I mean, I'm curious to see how you guys are looking at it, but I think I'm taking the old buck on this one in Virna Jandiroba to continue to keep her claim as one of the top girls in the division. MMAnomaly. I mean, am I talking crazy here?
I don't think you're talking crazy. I think you're actually talking very logical. It's hard to disagree with any of the points that you make, but I do have to make some counterpoints, right? Fucking grimy. Nano, the eye on the prize comment, crazy on this fight. That's
one of her eyes. Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Jandiroba wins a decision, is what Grimey's thinking. And Moicano looked good against BSD. He looked great against BSD, bro. He looked like a fucking world breaker in that fight. Easy money. So in this one, there's a couple things that I want to break down, right? I'm going the dog again in Ricci, first things first. I know everyone, including Nano, is going to say control, but Ricci is the type of fighter who doesn't just accept positions. She scrambles, she explodes, she forces exchanges in those positions. And Jandiroba is dominant when she's set, right? But getting there against someone as active as Ricci is not guaranteed and not going to be easy. If Ricci keeps this fight moving, mixes in her striking, and avoids the extended bottom time, she can absolutely edge this one out. And again, I think it's worth taking into account that Ricci has 78% takedown defense in the UFC. Like, that is a very high percentile. And again, if we flip the script and we look at Jandiroba, she's good. She's really good, but she has 37% takedown accuracy against 78% takedown defense. For me, that means she's going to have to work awfully hard in order to get Ricci down. And even if she does get her down, she's not going to be able to keep her there very long. Ricci did beat Jillian too. And again, like, Jillian got her down, if I remember correctly, but she couldn't keep her there. Like, Ricci made her pay. Every time she'd try and attempt a takedown, she'd fucking sprawl and catch her with one of those Chuck Liddell little hooks. Shovel hook action for her ass. I think we could see rinse, wash, and repeat in this one. I think it's going to look very similar. I think it's going to be a grindy decision, but I think Tabatha, if she keeps the range and she keeps her wits about her, she could definitely pull off an upset in this one. Pip, who you siding with, me or Nano here?
I'm siding with the turkey on this one. I think Virna, I mean, she's a strong grappler. She's got a solid double leg, good timing on the takedowns as well. And she can flow when she's on top. She's got some nasty ground and pound with it. She's a solid BJJ game as well. You've got to watch her if she's on the ground. You got to watch your arms with her. Against Ricci, I mean, she's pretty much looking to pressure you up against the fence and hold you there. Land everything that she's got against the fence. She's a very heavy pressure fighter with fast combinations. But I think she can be a little sloppy at times. I think the forward pressure can get neutralized by Virna. I don't think she's going to have an easy time controlling Jandiroba against the cage. I see her just, landing trips, sweeps. If she's backing away from her, I could see her landing some double legs. I think it can be pretty competitive in the striking, but I really see Jandiroba here being able to catch Ricci with a straight hand. I think Ricci throws a lot of looping shots, even with that, and I think she's going to be able to use that 3-inch reach advantage as well. For the most part, I just kind of see Tabatha Ricci getting dominated on the ground. I think it's going to go to decision, but I think Jandiroba's going to get the nod on this one.
All right. Well, as Godsmack once said, I stand alone. That's okay though. That's what it's all about, boys. Let me see what the odds are, the straight odds on this one. So on Moicano, we got plus 130. And on Rob Schneider. Sorry, Jandiroba.
Nice.
We have, Tabatha Ricci. We have plus 110. Parlay those together, plus 383. Not bad. Fifth of a unit almost turns into a whole unit, 0.77. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a fifth of a unit on this one. Just a quick parlay piece. I think another one, which I can't do it on Bet Online, but I can do it on Underdog, I believe, is, let's see here, fight to go the distance. So boom. And then for the Moicano fight to not go the distance. What does that look like? 1.94 times your money on that. Not bad. Not bad at all. So you put in 25, you get 48 back. Not a bad deal. I'm going to do a unit on that. I actually feel pretty confident in that. A unit to get almost 2 back.
Good deal.
Boom. Locked and loaded on that one. And with that, we move into the next one. Let's see if we find one that we'll agree on. I think we might have found it, boys. We have a light heavyweight bout between Abdul Rakhman, Yakhyaev. What a fun name to say. And his opponent, Brendson Ribeiro, which is also a very fun name to say. Battle of the fun names. Feel like the matchmakers got bored with this one. You have a 500 fighter essentially in Brendson Ribeiro coming in at 17-9, coming against an 8-0 undefeated prospect in Abdul Rakhman Yakhyaev. This one comes down to composure. Yakhyaev is dangerous, but he's wild. Ribeiro is the more calculated fighter. He doesn't rush. He picks his shots. He capitalizes when guys get reckless. But that being said, I don't think it's going to matter. I think Yakhyaev is just too damn strong for him. I think he's going to probably come out here and just steamroll through the opposition. The guy looks like a total fucking beefcake. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think Brendson has much of a shot here. I think realistically, it's going to be a knockout, and I think it's probably going to happen in the first or second round. While I pass it over to Pip, I am going to jump into the odds and see what the unders are on this one.
Yeah, I mean, Abdul, he's an undefeated prospect, and you know why when you see him fight. He's a wild striker, throws bombs with heavy pressure. He's got good rhythm to it as well. Rushes forward to his opponent and, try and charge with momentum. And if they even try to change it, he'll grab the tie clinch and just land some heavy knees. He's got serious ground and pound as well. All of these things we've seen Ribeiro struggle with. He's got some power, but that's pretty much about all he brings. More of a rangy
to jump
striker.
In here real quick, Pip, didn't he struggle with all those things at middleweight?
Yeah, that's a solid point.
And now he's going against a much larger guy.
Yeah, he's not doing himself any favors.
All of those things you listed, I feel like they favor the larger, stronger guys. So he's fucking shit creek.
He's not doing himself any favors. Yeah, so I mean, if I was going to tell you to lose money, I'm gonna say pick Brendson, but I'm not going to do that. I want you to make money here. But like I said, I mean, I think all he's got is a little bit of power. He's a little bit more of a rangy striker, but he's definitely open to shots. He's really easy to back up. And I think he's a little chinny as well, and that kind of worries me. I think Abdul is just going to pressure. He's going to land some shots, especially when they get in the pocket. Abdul's going to land some knees, and then he's going to get him to the ground. I think he's going to finish him with heavy ground and pound, and I think it's going to go, like you said, Olin, in round one. What do you got on this one, Nano?
Yeah, man, I like the way you think. I could certainly see that picture painted perfectly in my head, man. I could see it going something similar as well. I could see it being a first round finish. I could see Abdul Rakhman, Yakhyaev getting his hand raised. And it's just really hard to, even just strictly from a betting perspective, like Brendson Ribeiro is just someone that's really hard to trust. Just like you said, MMAnomaly, almost a 50-50 fighter. Not someone I'd really feel that good about. You just never know what version of him you're going to get. Though he's big, strong, talented, looks like a fighter, just the results really have not come through for Brendson. So all that to say, Abdul, 25 years young, absolutely talented, undefeated Turkish fighter here. Someone we're going to continue to be talking about in the future, but I do think he gets his hand raised in most likely dominant fashion here come Saturday night. Let's go. Or Saturday evening, I suppose, depending on this one.
So Good shout by Grimy here. Had to do some digging on Bet Online because they have all the other props listed above that one for whatever reason. If you pick him by KO or TKO, it's minus 150. If you pick him specifically in round 1, it's minus 325. But if you pick him in round 1 by KO, TKO, or DQ, it's plus 110. I'm going to put a unit on that. A unit to get basically a little over a unit back. Not bad. Not bad. Good shout, Grammy. Definitely a good shout on that one. In the next one, we have a bantamweight bout between Ewing and Rafael Estevam. I got to say something before I pass this one over to Pip to lead us off here. Estevam has had 3 fights in the UFC so far. All 3 of them were in the flyweight division, and he missed weight 2 out of 3 times at flyweight. He's now moved up to bantamweight for this fight tomorrow and missed weight again. It's just people like this make it very hard to be a fan, right? Like making weight is like putting pants on before you go to work. It's a very important part of the day to day. Like, you got to do it. Not everybody wants to wear pants, but you got to do it. You got to make weight. WMC saying I'm worried for Ewing. I mean, the swagger master? Ewing beat Wellmaker, but I don't know on this one. Brother, am I crazy for thinking that Ewing's going to landslide this one? I mean, what are you thinking here, Pip?
No, I'm right there with you. I'm really looking forward to seeing Ethyn back in the cage. Short notice fight that he had with Malcolm Wellmaker, just kind of, he won that by unanimous decision. And that shit put me on notice. I mean, this dude could be a serious problem. I kind of think this is how stars are made, is when they do kind of get that short notice phone call, and then they just kind of style on a undefeated prospect that's already in the UFC. So I think he can definitely be a big problem, especially with a full camp. I think he could do big things. I mean, he's predominantly a boxer, but this dude is good everywhere. I mean, nice in the pocket exchanges, can slip in and out of range, cut angles. He's got extremely fast combinations, good head kicks, and he can throw them from anywhere too. Definitely a fighter that can use all 8 of his limbs, and I think, Olin, you'd appreciate that as well. I mean, elbows, knees in the clinch, he can grapple, he can defend the takedowns, he can also reverse the positions. I mean, he's got good hip tosses, maybe not the best pressure on top, but he can definitely cause some damage. And he's got cardio, and he's got a chin. And against Rafael, I mean, I'm happy he is moving up. I did not know he missed weight already, so that's already a problem. But I'm happy you kind of brought that up as well. I mean, he's undefeated. 2 of his 3 wins, he missed weight, like you said. But he is a relentless grappler. He's more kind of positional control more than anything, but he can do some damage from the top. And he does have some submissions as well. But just kind of more control than anything. I'm definitely going to ride the hype here on Ewing. I think the size of Ewing will be a problem. Not that he is bigger or anything, but like I said, I mean, Rafael's kind of been weight bullying these flyweights. It is definitely a total different style than his first UFC fight, but I think the striking is high level from Ethyn. I think he can stuff the takedowns. I think he can land big shots and break him down by the 3rd round. So I'm going to go with a knockout in the 3rd round from Ewing. What do you got on this one, Nano?
Ooh, I like it. And I feel like we've pretty much been on the same page thus far. And I do like Ewing as well. Just, his kind of claim to fame, taking the short notice fight, beating the Malcolm Wellmaker, taking the hype from him, 28 years old, flying out of SoCal and willing to answer the bell. And he's in the construction field, which I love as well. My brother is in the industry. So it's like, I want to see him do well and continue to grind. But man, something about Rafael just really intrigues me. And I think if I had to pick an underdog, I mean, it's kind of near even odds, or maybe he's a slim underdog, or maybe it's changed. I wouldn't be surprised, but I like Rafael Estevam a lot. I think I'm taking him here as a slight favorite. I just think, like you mentioned, I think the size, or at least the strength, is obvious in Rafael Estevam. And I think in this new weight class and having time and sometimes I think that transition's good for some fighters where, they're not like killing themselves. They're at a class where they're healthy and strong. Maybe you can pack a little bit more punch. I think he'll be a little more durable. Ewing's got a hell of a dome piece on him, though, doesn't he? I mean, big old dome, big head. I'm sure he can withstand a lot, and I think it'll probably be most likely a decision win. But I'm taking Rafael by a slim margin of victory here. MMA Anomaly, give the people what they want, man. How you feeling about this bout? You think it's Ethyn?
Well, I mean, you guys both pointed out a lot of good things. Rafael Estevam is unbeaten, Nova Unao product. He's got slick ground skills. As Pip alluded to, like, he doesn't necessarily use those ground skills always to set up the submission, more so just to control you, pound you out, and grind to a decision win more often than not. But he's had some weight cut issues, as I alluded to earlier. He's looked gassed in recent outings. And as Pip said earlier, he's just been kind of a weight bully at the lower weight class. Moving up, like, let's talk about Ethyn Ewing. This is the real story on the card. Ewing is the ultimate blue-collar underdog here, right? Like, just a handful of months ago at UFC 322, took a fight against undefeated prospect Malcolm Wellmaker on 48 hours notice while still working a full-time job in construction. He was waking up at 4 a.m., grinding out 8-hour days on the job, sitting in traffic, and then training late into the night. Despite all of that, he stepped in as a massive underdog, dominated Wellmaker, and handed him his first UFC loss, his first professional loss, and earned a unanimous decision victory. All while basically fighting twice in 8 days, right? Like, the guy's working his ass off. And after that huge upset, Ewing went right back to the construction site, got a big round of applause from his coworkers. But here's the key. This fight against Estevam, it's his full training camp, his first full training camp ever, where he's fully dedicated to the game of MMA with no full-time job pulling him in every direction elsewhere. He is all in now, training 3 times a day, focused only on fighting and family. And I think that brings a whole lot of steam to the fucking boat, boys. The athleticism, recent momentum, and fresh dedication, I think, give Ewing the edge for me. I've got Ethyn Ewing winning by unanimous decision. I could also see him grinding out and getting a TKO late in the 3rd round. I think he'll stuff Estevam's early takedown attempts, outstrike him on the feet, and probably build a 2-round deficit before they even make it to that 3rd round. He's going to mix in smart wrestling of his own to pull away over that 3-round course of time. And I think that this is just a really, really great matchup for him to build momentum if he gets not 1, but 2 undefeated prospects and takes that out.
Damn, that was a great breakdown.
Not a boy.
I like the kid, bro.
That was nice. I'm hyped as fuck for that now.
I appreciate it, brother. I had to put some steam on it, dude. I was high. This is my fight of the night. I'm excited as fuck for this one.
This is the one I'm looking forward to the most as well.
And then in the next one, we have Wish.com. Sean O'Malley, a.k.a. Tommy McMillen, coming in against Manolo Zecchini, a.k.a. Winged Z. I don't know if you saw the weigh-ins. He showed up in a pair of wings, like Wing C. Wing Z was just too easy. It was kind of low-hanging fruit. Sorry.
I say roll with it. Roll with it.
Wasn't great. But. Tommy McMillen, have you guys... I hate that I'm going to say this out loud on the show. Have you guys ever watched Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
I have not seen
Oh,
it.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Tommy McMillen is a 28-year-old Carl, the neighbor.
Oh, I got to look him up. Okay. I got to jog the memory. It's been a long time.
The neighbor that's like always fucking with him. As soon as you look him up, you're going to be like, oh my God, yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. That's hilarious.
They have the same face,
Damn.
bro. They have the same face.
I'm glad you didn't say the same body, but yeah, you're right.
I think I might flip to Ewing now. Let's go, brother. That's what we're here to do. Yeah, no, I think it's your turn to take first on this one. I know you're a Sean O'Malley fan, so tell us how you see Sugar Sean O'Malley Light performing out here against Zecchini.
Yeah, I think he's gonna bake the Zecchini here and get rid of the Italian man in Manolo Zecchini. I just think that all the talent is there. He's fine out of Pure, Arizona, like you mentioned there. Shout out our boy Sugar. Love the nickname Tommy Gun McMillen. And I mean, huge favorite. I think it's just one of those things. Like, I don't see enough in Manolo's game to really validate going against the grain here. You know, I don't think this is the one to go out and try to win some money on. If you're going to go against these odds, be willing to burn that money and walk away, because it's a really, really good chance that Tommy McMillen's going to make a name for himself and showcase the firepower he's got in those guns, as his nickname suggests. So I'm leaning Tommy here, but I'm curious to hear you and Pip break it down even further.
Pip, I'll let you take the lead on this one, brother. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, Tommy Gunn McMillen is back. I mean, we watched him have a war on Dana White Contender Series, and kind of like you mentioned, I mean, Sean O'Malley Light, I mean, you can tell he trains with Sugar. It definitely shows. He's a very flashy striker. He does have knockout power, but nice long shots, good in and out movement, solid jab, and looping crosses. And he's got heart, too. I mean, he showed that in his last fight. Got caught in a deep submission, was able to escape it. He got rocked bad. He was still able to recover. I think he's a solid prospect to keep an eye on. Against the Zecchini, I mean, he's more of a wild striker. Doesn't really impress me too much anywhere. He's coming off of a win against Morgan Charry in his debut. But I'm taking Tommy McMillen. I think Tommy can use that 5-inch reach advantage just to keep Zecchini at distance, pop the jab out, land teep kicks. I think he's going to have the power advantage. I think the shots are going to get through, and they're going to cause big impact. He's going to use good footwork to avoid getting backed up. And I think he's going to put Zecchini at range. Give me Tommy Gunn McMillen by a TKO. I think he's going to catch him with a straight hand. He's going to make Zecchini become a vegetable, and he's going to go ground and pound finish round 3. That's what I got on this one. What you got on this one, Olin?
Oh, man. Before I get to my breakdown, I got to read the comment that has me cracking the fuck up. Shout out Lazy Bed. First coming in with Carl. Willy, wah, so low. Dude, yes. Like, tell me I'm wrong. 28-year-old Carl is Tommy McMillen, folks. Randomly casting this panel as MMA fighters because I'm high. Olin is brown-haired Ed Herman. I've been compared to a fighter before, but never Ed Herman. So that's a new one for me. Thank you for that. Nano is slickback Arman Sarukian. I can see the vision. Yeah. I can see the vision. And Pip is young, rich Franklin.
I like that.
I can 100% see that.
I like that.
I can 100% see that. The only fighter I've ever really been compared to or told that I look like is Jason Mayhem Miller. But Ed Herman, I'm not mad at it, especially like young Ed Herman. I feel like, again, I can see the vision if he had brown hair. It's true. All us white guys look the same.
I think all these were compliments right here.
I think so. That's how I'm taking it. Yeah, so everything you guys said about this fight, I mean, everything you said about it is true, right? Tommy McMillen is a perfect 9-0 prospect. He's tough as nails, high volume pressure fighter who just earned his UFC contract, as you alluded to, with a gritty come from behind decision win. He brings forward pressure, wrestling, and the kind of durability that wears his opponents down over time. Zecchini, if boiled at the right temperature, can be very soft. Can be very soft. I had to make one bad joke. Manolo Zecchini is a Jackson Wink product with real danger in his hands, but he's returning after some time off and a tough UFC debut loss, right? McMillen's pace and pressure are going to be a little bit too much at this level, I think. I've got Tommy McMillen winning by unanimous decision. I think he'll use that constant forward pressure, high volume striking, and his chain wrestling entries to grind Zecchini down over time and boil him in the water, as they say. Now, again, worth noting, the only loss that this guy had in the UFC, Zecchini, is to Morgan, the last pirate, Yakhyaev. And it's tough. It's tough, you know? If you did feel so inclined to put some money against Tommy McMillen, because I don't know why you would put money on him at these odds. He's minus 1,000, folks. That means if you put, let's see here.
Which means this is going to be a hard-fought war with those odds.
Yeah. Exactly. If you put $25 on him, you'd get $2.50 back in profit. Whereas if you put $25 on Zecchini, you get $175 back in profit. Olin, what is McMillen by decision? Grimy asking all the right questions here. Let me pull this one up on the screen while I look this up for you. So, I like that. So I'm going to do a fifth of a unit on Zecchini because, I mean, it's silly not to at plus 700 odds. And we're going to pepper that. And either way we'll be up, right? Because I'm going to do a fifth of a unit on Tommy McMillen to win by decision. Where'd it go? By points. Plus 500. I like that a lot. So yeah, either way, I'm either up 4x my money or I'm up 6x my money. with the cost of both bets. So yeah, we'll do
All
that.
good odds.
I like that. That's what we call hedging. And sometimes, those hedges really pay off. So we're gonna hedge Aroni all day, boys. Let's go ahead and move on into the next one. We have Jose Delano coming in against Robert Ruchala. I think Jose Delano is a pretty solid prospect here. He earned his spot on Dana White's Contender Series with a super impressive performance, well-rounded skills, smooth striking. He's a very smooth operator. From range to close quarters, he can get it done. He has very good distance control, solid wrestling as well, and sets a great pace from start to finish. He is not one of these guys that just steamrolls forward and pressures you like a McMillen. He sets a controllable pace that he's going to be able to perform for anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes and maybe 25 down the line, right? He's one of the more complete prospects to enter the promotion lately from the Dana White's Contender Series alum, in my opinion. And I think Robert Ruchala he's solid, but he came in with strong regional record and power, but he looks shaky and incomplete in his UFC debut, in my opinion. And I think that that's going to be something that works against him in this one. His last fight was against William Gomes, who is obviously no slouch, and he did take him to decision. But again, I just think that Delano is the cleaner fighter. He's got better technique, athleticism, and a better gas tank. Should carry him out through the day. And that's why I've got him winning by unanimous decision. I think he'll outstrike Ruchala at range. I think he'll mix in timely takedowns and avoid the big shots to take a pretty clear 30-27 in this one, boys. Nano, what are you thinking here?
I like it, brother. I like it. Not much more to add to that. I just think Jose Delano, great mustache. But the Ben favorite here from Brazil, 29 years old, certainly starting to hit his prime. And I think he just has all the tools here to get it done. 16-3 record on a 4-fight win streak. And most recently, beating Emmanuel Exposito, great name, in the Dana White Contender Series. And like you said, I think he's sharp. I think he has a good skill set. And though I have a lot of respect for Robert Ruchala, I just think that, that last loss against William Gomes, not the best look. I think there's the path is certainly going to be, I think, grappling most easily for Jose Delano, but he's got some power in his punches as well. So I just think he's where I'm leaning, and just don't really see it being a great night for Mr. Robert Ruchala come Saturday. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I think, Delano is a 29-year-old prospect riding a 4-fight win streak, coming off a good win in Dana White Contender Series. I mean, fun striker, nice straight shots, and mixing up the target quite a bit. I mean, he backs you up and just unloads power shots. He does have some grappling ability as well, so I'm riding the hype on this guy. Looks like an impressive striker from what I have seen, but this dude, like I said, he's got power. He's got a good amount of experience as well, and what he can do from the work in the pocket is kind of nasty. Against Robert Ruchala, another striker coming off a loss to William Gomes in his debut. I think we kind of have more of a kicker versus a boxer. Robert has very good kicks, good body kicks, even throws some spinning kicks every now and then as well. I think Robert has the better footwork here, but I think Delano is going to do some nasty work in the pocket. I think he might eat some kicks to land a bomb, but I feel like Robert can move side to side a little bit better. He can cut angles, but he does get backed up. I mean, early and often, and I think that could be a real problem against more of this kind of pressure boxer style in Delano. And this is exactly what I see. I mean, Delano, and Roberts kind of go back and forth. Delano lands a clean shot, backs up Robert. He kind of shells up, can't avoid the punches, starts mixing in the hooks to the body. Robert dips his hands. Delano catches him with a straight left hand, gets the KO in round 3. So I'm going to go with Delano getting the knockout.
Man. Grimy. WMC said, Nano, the mustache enthusiast? WMC, Grimy says, if Delano loses, Nano has to shave to a handlebar, LOL. WMC, mutton chops. Not mad at mutton chops.
Jeez.
Sport the Wolverine, brother. Have to have you come out for Comic-Con this year.
Hey, there we go.
You had a job. So can I just tell you the main card minute on Twitter posted some stats on UFC Vegas 115, and I'd be remiss if I didn't go through these real quick. He said, hashtag UFC Vegas 115 is stacked. 88% of the fighters on this card are unranked. 9 fighters on the card have not won a UFC fight ever. 15 out of 26 fighters on the card are coming off of a loss. 7 of those 15 are coming off of 2 or more straight losses, and only one fight on the entire card has both fighters coming off of a win. Jeez.
Gee wee-wees.
Gee wee-wees indeed. Shout out my boy Long Island Luke and the main card minute. Dude, I saw you getting shouted out on I think that show and on Helwani this week. I think Helwani said he was going to drop you a follow after one of your comments in the show. Was that this week or last week? I just remember you getting shouted out. Or no, was it John Anik? It was John Anik, I think. Because you said Jason Anik looked like somebody. Who was it that you said Jason looked like? Or am I tripping entirely? No, I know that was you. It was cool as fuck. Juice Man, my guy. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Juice?
You got one of these WMMA fights, LOL. I mean, we're getting to it. In the next fight, we have Charles Chuck Buffalo Radschke, which just a great fucking name. Or actually, no, that one got canceled. So, Chuck Buffalo. Call him the Great White Buffalo, the one that got away, right? The one that got away. Just a heads up, guys. Pip has to head out in about 10 minutes. He has prior obligations, but you'll be stuck with me and Nano either way, folks. We're going to go through the rest of this card. I think we have like 6 or so fights left. Let's get through as many as we can before we lose the man on the right. Heavyweight bout between Guilherme Pat and Thomas Petersen. 6-0 Guilherme Pat coming in against a 10-4, almost 500 fighter in Thomas Petersen. Pip, since you're out the door soon, who you got in this one?
Yeah, I mean, moving to the heavyweights here, Pat is a dangerous striker for the division. He's extremely fast, extremely sharp jab as well, and good leg kicks. I think the speed on his strikes is what's most impressive to me about this guy. He's really snappy kicks, more of that kind of taekwondo background. We haven't really seen his grappling tested too much. We did see he had that fight with Alan Fry, and he did a really good job at framing and landing some nasty elbows against the cage. But other than that, we haven't really seen his grappling too much. Against Petersen, who is a very aggressive grappler, strong double legs, a fast starter, and he's got some decent ground and pound with that. But with that style, I mean, he eats a lot of shots, and he can slow down. I think Pat is going to be tested here. I think he's going to be able to edge it out with the striking. He's a fairly precise striker. I think he's going to take full advantage of the 7-inch reach advantage that he has, land big shots. When Thomas rushes in, I think Pat can utilize the knees, especially to the body. And I think he's going to just make him really uncomfortable. I think he's going to, kind of get in there, clinch with him, land a lot of body work. Thomas doesn't really have much regard for the shots that are coming his way, especially when he's trying to get you to the ground. So I think Pat is just going to add another finish to his resume here. I think there's just a clear difference in the striking. I think he can strike from range. I think he can kind of pick him apart and avoid the takedowns. He's a pretty good athlete. Even when you look at the record of Thomas Petersen, I mean, the wins aren't that quality. He's got wins over Dante Mays, which shout out hometown boy, but you're not that good.
Shout out no bet list.
Yeah, and Muhammad Usman. Both of these fights, I mean, he won by decision, and he's not getting finishes at this kind of level. I think Pat has potential to be a problem in this division. He's more patient, so I don't think it's going to be a first-round finish, but I do think he's going to put a clinic on him, and I think Pat's going to get the KO in round 3. What do you got on this one, boys?
I mean, I'll keep it short and sweet. I do think that Guilherme Pat is certainly going to get the pat on the back here as he gets the victory. I know it's a virtual even pick'em. Thomas Petersen's literally up, down, win, loss. I guess if you look at that, maybe he's due for another victory here. But I like the undefeated fighter. Represent Brazil. I think he has more past the victory. I can see him putting Mr. Thomas Petersen out of his misery here early. That's typically what happens in a lot of these heavyweight fights. So that's where I'm leaning. What about you? MMAnomaly, what do you got?
Give me Guilherme Pat. I think he's going to get it done. I think it's kind of what Pip alluded to. Like, the quality of wins that Thomas Petersen has had are not really high quality wins. And I think even if he tests the grappling of Guilherme Pat, we're going to be surprised. The athleticism, the speed, the timing of the guy, it's nice. It's nice to see, especially at heavyweight. And I think, even though he has UFC experience in Thomas Petersen, it's been really up and down, and he struggles with consistency. Like, the dude is more inconsistent than Dante Mays, as the man to my right mentioned. So I'm not going to bet on this one, but if I was, I would bet Guilherme Pat. With that being said, flyweight. We have a flyweight bout between Alessandro Costa and Stewart Nicoll. Not a penny, not a dime, but a nickel. Nato, how do you see this one playing out?
This is gonna be a fun one, man. I'm taking and I love the name Mr. Nicoll, representing Australia, and I do think he's a.
But is the other guy
fighter.
gonna make him Costa?
I think Alessandro. I think he has less is more sometimes, man. Less is more, and I'm taking Alessandro Costa in this one. I just think he's the stronger fighter. He has like the bigger frame. I think he's going to come in and assert his will, and it's hard to weather the storm sometimes, man. I just don't know if he's going to be able to. And he being, Mr. Stewart Nicoll, coming off a loss, but so is Stewart. Mr. Stew's coming off back-to-back losses, so something's got to give here. I'm just going to take the younger fighter who is Brazilian, but he's fine out of Mexico, so got to love that. He is the Ben favorite here as well. I just, again, don't see a path for Stewart to really go out there and then have the upset against Costa Nano. Shout out there. So give me Alessandro. Let's go.
I'm right there with you. I like him here. I think he has the UFC experience and real flashes of upside in there, kind of flashes of brilliance, right? Especially once he closes the distance and gets the fight to the ground, whereas grappling is able to shine. I think Stewart Nicoll, making his octagon debut, he's going to need something special to pull off the upset here. I've got Alessandro Costa winning by submission in round 2, possibly a grindy decision. Again, I think once he gets inside and establishes top position, his chain wrestling and submission threat's going to take over the fight and just control the pace from there on out. Pip, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Costa, he's usually putting on really fun fights. I think his record is worse than what it shows. His 3 losses are to Alden, Steve Erceg, and Amir Albazi. So, I mean, he's losing to good competition for whatever that's worth. He's a solid striker. He does have some power in his shots and really decent counters. And his right leg kick is a problem for a lot of these guys. When he's on top as well, I mean, he can land some nasty ground and pound, but he does leave some opening in the striking. No head movement, and he can be a little chinny. Stewart, though, I mean, he's more of a grappler. He hasn't done well in the UFC so far. He's 0-2, got submitted by Jesus Aguilera and Lucas Rocha. It pretty much pieced him up with a stand-up. He hasn't looked good compared to Costa. I think Costa will be fairly explosive. He's going to land some heavy overhands, chop at that calf, and just start causing some problems. I think he's going to drop Stewart, but I'm thinking the fight's going to go to decision. But it's definitely going to be more one-sided. That's my breakdown. And then, yeah, I think I'm going to have to get ready. I'm going to show some properties. So, as always, if you guys need some property out in Northern Kentucky, give your boy a shout. And happy Easter weekend. I hope y'all stay safe and have a good weekend.
Let's go.
Brother, same to you, my guy. Same to you. Have a great fucking weekend and happy Easter to you, my guy. Hope everything goes well. Boom. And we are back to the Nano and Olin show, folks. So, excuse me. Grimy said he's betting Costa by sub decision. Double odds on this. I don't know if I get double odds like that. Because I know you can do that on DraftKings. I don't think you can on... Yeah, you can't do it on Bet Online. Dang. Dang. What are the odds you're getting on that, though? Curious.
Yeah, let us know, y'all. What do we get?
And Grimy said he needs some hunting property, Pip. Hook a brother up, my guy. Hook a brother up. With that, let's go ahead and move into the next one. We have Lando Vannata coming into the lightweight division to face Darrius Flowers. My goodness, my gracious me. Lando Vannata fight. What year is it, Nano? This guy... Didn't he make his debut against Tony Ferguson in the UFC?
Was that his debut?
I think that was his debut on short notice. Hold on. I'll tell you right now. I might be wrong on this. Let me double check myself. Let me fact check myself here. I'm just spouting that off of memory.
I'm also trying to look now. You got me curious. Like a little kitten.
No, it was not his UFC debut. No, it was his UFC debut.
It was, yep. Damn, nice.
2016. Round 2, Darce choke. It was a bloody ass fight, and then he came back in the next fight, got the spinning wheel kick, knockout over John Makdessi. I mean, the guy has had just an up and down career. 3 most recent wins being over Marcus Moriano, Yancy Medeiros and Mike Grundy. I'm pretty sure all three of those fighters are retired. At the very least, they're retired from the UFC. But he's coming in here against Darrius Flowers. And again, like his last 4 losses for that matter, were not bad losses, right? King Green back in 2020, that was a stud. Charles Air Jourdain and Daniel Zellhuber. So it's also been 3 years since the guy's fought. He's had 3 canceled bouts against Andre Touchy-Feely, Mike Breeden, and James Yontop. This is going to be an interesting one. I just think Darrius Flowers is kind of an overhyped fighter. Made his way into the UFC after a bout against Amiron Gogaladze on the Contender Series circa 2022. Came into the UFC, lost every fight he's had so far to Jake Matthews, Michael Johnson, and Evan Elder, who made him look like he was the younger for sure. I just think Lando Vannata, no matter how old he is, it's going to be an old junkyard dog versus a young kind of green noob, so to speak. And I just genuinely think that the new recruit is not going to be able to keep up with the wily vet. Give me the veteran in Lando Vannata. I think he's going to be too slick, too quick, and he's just going to be able to better navigate the stand-up exchanges and outpoint Flowers in what should be a fairly fun, high-action fight. It's also worth noting that, like, even though we've seen Lando Vannata in the UFC for literally a decade now, he's not that old, Nano. He's just 34 years of age. So layoff could do him a lot of good. I mean, I'm intrigued to see how he performs out here, but what are your thoughts, man? Am I crazy for picking someone with a 3-year layoff in this one?
So that is probably where I'm having the hardest time with picking our boy Groovy Lando Vannata, a household name. Like you said, made his debut 10 years ago, but even just most recently had that 3-year layoff. Granted, he had some tough luck going against some really high-ranked opponents or guys that are still fighting today, in a Bobby King Green and names like that. A Daniel Zellhuber, another talented young fighter here, and had some canceled bouts as well with like Andre Touchy-Feely and some others. So though I think I would have loved to have seen maybe some of those matchups even now at this stage in his career. Again, only 34 years old, even though, again, we're talking about his debut against a Tony Ferguson 10 years ago, which is crazy to say out loud. I love Lando, and I think if he's going to win, man, this is probably one of the best case scenarios for him. He's going in against a Darrius Flowers beast mode. Though the nickname doesn't really align with the record. They both are virtually identical, with a 12-7-2 record for Lando, 12-8-1 for Darrius, 2 ties and 1 tie for Lando, 1 for Darrius. So like basically the same there. Maybe if one judge looked at it a little different, they would have been virtually identical. And it looks like a lot of Tapology is taking Vannata as well. I'm going to lean with the old buck here on this one. I think if he's going to win, this is going to be the time to do it. Sometimes it's not just about the age or the layoff. Sometimes it just matters about the skills. And like you mentioned, brother, what kind of dog do you got in the backyard there, baby? And we know Groovy Lando's going to go out there and leave it all in the octagon. And I do think in this type of situation, the layoff will be better for him. Maybe a little ring rust to start, but once you get fighting, man, it's like riding a bike. You're out there. You're looking to put a hurt into your opponent, and Groovy's going to want to try to go out there and put his opponent away. So I'm thinking that's what we'll see Saturday. Let's go. Groovy, baby.
Groovy, baby. Useless said Vannata went to a draw with Green. You're right, but we're also right in saying he lost to Green. So the draw you're referring to was UFC 216, Ferguson versus Kevin Lee card in 2017. And then they rematched back in 2020, about 6 years ago now, August 1st. And King Green ended up beating him via unanimous decision. So both things are true, my friend. But yeah, he's a dog, man. He's fought just a litany of legendary lightweights. So my goodness, my gracious me. Let's go into another fight. Bless you, my friend. A women's you're welcome. A women's bantamweight fight between Alice Pereira and Haley Cowan. Haley Cowan 7-4, bit of a 500 fighter with that record. Alice Pereira, though, if I'm being completely honest here, Nano, and calling a spade, I do feel like she left a lot to be desired in that fight against Montserrat Rendon. She was backpedaling. She almost got finished. I'll let you take the lead on this one, Nato. What do you see happening in this fight? Do you think Ales Pereira gets back on the bike and back in the win column?
I think so. I think that was a little bit of a, just unfortunate situation for the Golden Girl, Ales Pereira. She's 20 years young still. Montserrat is someone to not be messed with, and this is the big leagues, and sometimes not only do you lose, but maybe you just kind of get boat race or just really gets away from you, and it just wasn't Alice's night. But I do think all the best is yet to come for her in her career, and she is the slight bet favorite. It does look like a lot of Tapology thinks that Alice is going to be able to get it done, and I think so as well. I think now she knows what to expect. This isn't going to be her first rodeo, not going to be caught up in the moment or a victim of the bright lights and losing the game plan because, again, just your nerves and things like that, which are all natural. Again, think about it, y'all. She's 20 years young, can't even have a legal drink yet, if you think about it, at least here in the United States. I don't know how it is in Brazil. But she's tall, man. She's 5'8". Her opponent's as equally tall, but she's still going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. That is going to be just enough for her to feel comfortable, keep her opponent at bay. But then if they do get into tight clinches or into some exchanges, I do like Ales Pereira and the skill set that she brings in here to the octagon. And again, I think the hype train will continue on to the next stop as she gets her hand raised come Saturday night. What do you think, brother? Do you think the Golden Girl is going to get it done, or do you think all hail the Haley Cohen show? What are you thinking, brother?
I can't be all in on Pereira, man. She let me down quite a bit in her last fight, if I'm being completely honest. And as of now, I mean, I know she only has one fight in which to base the stats off of here, but 0 for 3 on takedowns. I mean, she has 0% takedown accuracy. Takedown defense, though, technically she has 100%. Yet her opponent still ended up on top of her and still was able to attempt submissions in their last fight. Haley Cowan has 80% takedown defense, and she has a litness of fights already in the UFC. So again, 4 out of 5 times she's defending her opponent's takedowns. And she has a 36% takedown accuracy, which I know is not anything worth boasting over, but she also lands on average 1.63 takedowns per 15-minute average that she's in the UFC attempting them. For me, that spells that Ales Pereira is probably going to end up getting taken down. If she does get taken down, probably going to be a very long night for her. We saw what happened last time she ended up on the bottom. And Montserrat Rendon is, again, not the best fighter in the UFC, if we're being completely honest, right? She's good, but she's not great anywhere. All of her wins have come by way of decision. When you look at Haley Cowan, you're talking about a much more well-rounded fighter. 2 wins by knockout, 2 wins by submission, 3 wins by decision. There's not a lot better example of a well-rounded fighter there. Do y'all have high hopes on this upcoming card? Do y'all feel the previous card spoiled us for a bit? The previous card did spoil us for a bit, and yes, this is probably one of the worst cards since Norma Dumont versus Aspen Ladd. But I'm still going to be locked the fuck in. There's a lot of good fights on here. And even though, as I said, like a lot of the fighters on here are unranked, over half of them are coming off of a loss. Over half of that half are coming off of more than 2 losses in a row. This is a good opportunity for a lot of people to bounce back and really find their way back to that stardom or path to it.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. Jesus, your sneeze, brother. It's contagious, I guess.
Contagious, I know. Sorry, man. Sad time of year. Get your allergy meds.
Oh, shit. No sleeves. Yeah, Nato had to bring out the guns, bro. I think he's got a permit for those things, hopefully. So yeah, I'm almost leaning towards Cowan on this one. As of right now, unless I change it, I have her as my pick for one of my 3 dogs this week in the underdog competition. I picked Renato Moicano as my dog of the week, and my other pick is another female fighter, Tabatha Baby Shark Ricci. So that pretty much tells you my next 3 picks. But that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the middleweight division for a bout between Azamat Bekaev and Tresean Gore. You know what rhymes with Gore and is going to be the situation after Saturday for the young man? Sore. He is going to be Tresean Sore. I just think Azamat Bekaev is a powerful finisher. He's already racked up stoppage wins in the UFC. He's got explosiveness. He's got heavy hands. And Tresean Gore he's good, but again, he's the type of guy that's not necessarily great anywhere. He does have power. Probably where he gets the nickname Mr. Vicious. But even with that power, he has one win by way of knockout. He's got 3 submission wins and 1 decision win. If he's able to get to the top, maybe he can get a finish. Like he was able to submit Antonio Tricoli, but the last guy was supposed to be tailor-made to finish him, and he just couldn't get it done. So maybe Tricoli's stock went up because of that. Maybe that win went up because of that for me. But either way, he lost to Marco Tulio. He lost to Rodolfo Vieira. And, he also lost to Cody Brundage, right? Like, Cody Brundage has been on a skid, not a streak, a skid, bro. So it's tough. It's tough to bet on, but if I had to bet on this one, I'm going to go Azamat Bekaev. He's got more than twice the number of fights than the opposition and more than 3 times the wins. So for me, this is an easy pick. Tresean, like I said, does always have an option in the fight, but I think his options are going to be fairly limited against Bekaev in this one. What are the odds on this one? I feel like they're not going to be good at all. Yeah, Tresean Gore is plus 475. Azamat Bekaev is minus 650. Not betting on this one, Nano, but give me Azamat. What do you think?
Yeah, no, great breakdown, brother. And I'm leaning the same as you. I'm leaning Azamat, Iron, Bekaev. Was surprised to see him as such a huge favorite because I do respect Tresean Gore, Mr. Vicious, but Mr. Vicious is coming off back-to-back losses. This is a must-win for Mr. But, man, I'll tell you what, I really, really like Azamat and his skill set coming in here, even though he is coming off that loss to a Yusri Belgari, who, like we recently saw, that guy's obviously trending in the right direction here. So I don't hold that against him, but he's coming out of American Top Team here in Azamat and being 30 years old, and that's a year younger than Tresean Gore, and having, we're talking about a 20-4 record for Azamat versus Tresean Gore, 5-4. Same amount of losses, which is fair. Same amount of lessons learned at 4, but 4 times the amount of victories is an Azamat here in the chamber. I think just that amount of octagon time and that amount of experience is going to translate into just composure, being poised in there, and just sticking to the game plan and taking care of his opponent and continuing to stack victories. So I'm taking Azamat here all the way. Like you said, maybe from a betting perspective, probably going to stay clear. Tresean is tough as nails. I don't necessarily see a finish here, nor do I want to have to try to bank on Azamat, cracking that strong chin from Mr. Vicious. Nor do I want to see him get into a firefight, because that's why what he's looking for. So I'm taking Azamat all the way on this one, but you never want to count out a Tresean Gore, that's for sure.
You definitely do not, my friend. So in the next fight, we have Kai Kamaka III coming in against Dakota Hope in the lightweight division. Kai Kamaka is one of these guys that is fighting in a family lineage, right? I think it was his grandfather that fought many years ago, and now he's carrying up the family lineage. He's got 13 wins by way of decision, 3 by way of knockout or TKO, and 1 by way of submission. And if you recognize the name, because you've seen him in the UFC before. It was some time ago, back in 2020. His last fight was against Tony Kelly, who, not a lot of people are a fan of. Racist guy from Bossier City, Louisiana. Shout out. He got a win over Tony Kelly. He also got a win over Michael Stack to get into the UFC. But of course, after that win over Tony Kelly, he lost to JSP, Jonathan Pierce, which, what the fuck happened to that guy? I thought he was going to be like a big thing. We haven't seen him fight in years, right? When was the last time this guy fought?
True.
2024 against Pat Sabatini. He's on a 3-fight skid. Joe Anderson Brito, David Onama, and Pat Sabatini. But anyways, side tangent over. He then lost to TJ Brown and then got a draw to Danny Chavez and got cut. Then goes into Bellator, has a pretty up and down career in Bellator, which of course gets absorbed by PFL, goes into PFL, beats former PFL world champion Bubba Jenkins in his first PFL fight, beats Pedro Carvalho, and then loses to Brendan Loughnane before making it to the finale. Or maybe that was actually in the finals. No, playoffs. Again, then goes on to fight in another promotion, Tough Enough. goes 3-1, and the UFC calls him up for a, I believe, short notice fight in this one. He just fought last in January and got a win via right hook in round number 3. I got to go with, I don't know, man. I'm thinking Kai Kamaka in this one. I just think it makes the most sense, but it's also kind of a toss-up, if I'm being completely honest. He brings a veteran-savvy approach, solid recent form outside of the UFC, as I alluded to, and the experience to handle the pressure. I don't think the bright lights are going to get to him because he's been under these bright lights before. Dakota Hope is a young prospect standing across from him. He earned his spot with a first-round stoppage, but this is a big step up for him. I got Kamaka the third, winning by unanimous decision. I think the ring IQ, the experience, the composure, and the fact that he just fought like 3.5 months ago is going to pay dividends for him. Yeah, give me Kai Kamaka the third to bring it back for the fam. What do you think, brother?
Yeah, I like the breakdown, brother, and I like the fighter, and I like the pick, man. I like this matchup for Kai Kamaka the third. Shout out all my Hawaiian brethren out there. Shout out my Cuzzo. But man, those fighting Hawaiians, man, as the name suggests, they are all about business, all about that action. Look no further than a Max Holloway as a poster child for what they're about in that neck of the woods. So I'm taking him, but it does look like Dakota Hope. There is always a hope for victory for him as well. I mean, this guy is 11-1, has a great record, has hardly sniffed any sort of losses, has not in his last 5 fights. He is on a 5-fight win streak, though. We got to take that with a grain of salt. Both these guys do not have a lot of UFC octagon experience, so that is always something to factor in. But this guy is coming from Thailand. He's going to have that Muay Thai style as well, and dude's a big, strong son of a gun in the Dakota. So this is going to be a really, really exciting matchup. I'm just taking the tougher, and this is maybe biased just towards knowing Hawaiians personally, referencing someone like a Max Holloway, just knowing like they're people, man. They're all about war, regardless of what kind of record they have, regardless of how much experience they have, formal or not, amateur or professional. They've been fighting the streets from a young age, man. So I got nothing but faith for the fighting Hawaiian here in Kai. So that's where I'm leaning on this one. But you never know in this game, baby. You never know. That's why we love it.
You never know. You never know. And speaking of never know, my bad, guys. I think I skipped a fight. So we have one more fight to break down. It's a women's flyweight bout between Diana Barbosa and Melissa Gatto. This is going to be a pretty fun matchup, I think. 8-4 versus 9-2-2. Nano, who do you have winning this one and how?
Yeah, this is an interesting fight here as well. Last but certainly not least, in a Diane, Barbosa versus Melissa Gatto. We got two Brazilian fighters again squaring off here, and I'm taking the old buck, man. I don't know what it is about Diane Barbosa, the witch. Maybe it's her casting a spell on me, but maybe it's the smile here on Tapology. But no, all jokes aside, she's coming off a loss. She really, really needs this victory. 33 years old. Fight out of Vegas, but she's been fighting some of the best, right? I mean, the loss to Miranda Maverick, a loss to Karine Silva, can't necessarily knock her for that. She's really challenging herself, which you could appreciate. But it looks like Tabology agrees with me. I think she's a slight betting favorite as well. And again, anything's possible in this game. Melissa Gatto, the cat would suggest that, cat's out the bag. She's talented. She certainly has a path to victory, though she lost to what would appear to be, equally talented or high caliber fighters in like an Ariana Lipski da Silva or even a Tracy Cortez. Both of these were almost 2-3 years ago. Most recently, about a year and 10 months ago, she beat a Tamirez Vidal. I don't know if you're worried about any ring rust here on this fight, but again, I'm leaning Barbosa, more active, even though it's ups and downs. But I think she's talented enough to go out there and get it done. What do you think, brother? Bring us home.
I think you're definitely onto something. I think this is going to be a very close fight. This is one that I really did go back and forth on. I think Diana Barbosa is competitive, but fairly inconsistent at this level. Melissa Gatto is back after some time away, coming off a stoppage win. I think she brings a little bit better activity, plus improved wrestling. And I think Melissa Gatto might be able to get it done by unanimous decision here. but it's not going to be easy. And as you alluded to, Tapology is not on my side on this one. It's like over 80% that think I'm wrong. But again, like I think something that you mentioned is, she lost to Karine Silva and Miranda Maverick. Those are not bad losses. I think the losses that she's had have aged really well, but her wins are also not that great. Like Diana Belbita, not a great fighter to have a win over. Ernesta Caracate, same situation. That's it for the UFC. If we look at Melissa Gatto, like having a win over Sijara Eubanks back in 2021 is actually good. That's before the losing streak started for Sarge. And Sarge actually has some noteworthy wins in the UFC. Before that, she got a doctor stoppage over Victoria Leonardo, and then she lost to Ariane Lipski da Silva and Tracy Cortez, which again, losing to those two in 2022 and 2023, not the worst thing as far as having those losses on your record. She is coming off of a round 3 body shot finish. I think she could go out there and get it done again, man. She's aggressive. She's big. She's strong. I talked myself into it. I had Deanna Barbosa marked, but I'm clicking Gatto on my dog sheet. I got 4 dogs this week, boys. Yeah, give me the dog pick in this one. And that's it. Them's the picks. Lazy Bed, LMAO. Bro, thanks for alerting me about the shout out from Anik. I just went back and caught it. Yeah, dude, I was psyched to see you up there. I forgot I said Jason was looking like John Kerry. He was looking like John Kerry with the swoop.
John Kerry.
So funny. Such a funny shout. And with that, that's the show. Them's the picks. We appreciate you for being here and sticking it through. It's been a little over an hour and 10 minutes. If you haven't already done so, like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications. And after the video wraps up, if you could be so kind as to just refresh the page, leave a comment. Let us know what fight you're most excited for. Let us know if you think the card stinks. Let us know if you're placing any bets you're super stoked on so we can tell you. And most importantly, let us know what you thought of the show. And if you do none of the above, that's okay. As long as you do these next 2 things. We ask that you keep on going and you keep on growing. And we really hope we see you next episode, folks. Let's go.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.